Yeah, man. All right, it's What the F Happened, folks. We're streaming live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and today, this is going to be freaking wild because we got so much stuff going on. I don't even know where to begin. Everything from Facebook outages. Was it a conspiracy? Was it the whistleblower? Did Facebook just shut everything down to quiet every single person that actually is trying to tell you the truth? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into the markets and this crazy roller coaster ride. We're going to definitely talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin and Ethereum have been going, I wouldn't say to the moon, but they're at the top of the range, 40 to 50,000 in 1 week. I hope you all made money because we talked about this last week. And the best part is this. Biden's nominee for the comptroller of the currency, comptroller of the economy, and comptroller who sets the rules for banks, supposedly hates banks. So you're going to nominate somebody to control the banks that hates the banks, that I can't even say her name, Soli Amarova. Yeah, good luck with that one. But that's the person that we're putting in control of the banks. What the F is going on? So stay with us, and we are going to have so much fun today. All right, and we're back with What the F Happened. You can check this out on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or any of our Facebook groups because we're just streaming to all of it. And I hope you guys are ready to banter. I hope you guys are ready to rave. I hope you guys are ready to argue if you want because that's what we do here. I'm here with my partner in crime, Stephen Nagy. What's up, buddy?
Good morning. How's everybody doing? We got some crazy stuff today to talk into. So we want to hear from you. Throw us at us what you think. Tell us if you disagree with us. Let's have some fun here this morning.
Absolutely. I don't even know where to start, Stephen. So pick one because I've got a laundry list of topics. Should we just start with the one that's fresh and on everybody's mind that morning when you woke up and you looked at your Facebook and you're like, what is going on? Oh my God, my life's over. Here's the funny thing. I did 3 interviews yesterday, 3 podcasts, and I was talking to this one guy, very, very successful. I was on his show and we were like, I didn't even know Facebook or Instagram was down. Same here. I was so busy that day. I had no clue that those 2 sites and WhatsApp were even down until my wife texted me saying, honey, does your Instagram work? I'm like, honey, I don't know. I haven't had time to check it out because mine doesn't work. And that's where it all began for me. That was at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What time did you realize Facebook and Instagram didn't work? And that should tell you, maybe you're spending too much time on Facebook. Like there's so many other platforms and so many other things we can do to change our life. But why did Facebook go down? Was it a power outage? Doubt it. Was it somebody, hacking their system? Nah. Stephen, why do you think Facebook and Instagram were shut down for an entire day, which dropped Mark Zuckerberg's net worth? What was it, like $9 billion? Dropped the price of the stock, and they never come back because I think people are onto Facebook saying you are trying to basically take things away from us. You're trying to hide the truth. And what the hell happened?
Who knows what happened? They're blaming it on a hack. Maybe we'll never actually know what happened, but it really is a fascinating what's going on with Facebook right now. I mean, they've managed to somehow completely piss off the entire Republican side of the aisle by suppressing stories and suppressing content and, basically just claiming all these false fake news stories that are actually real and not allowing the dissemination of information, so they're suppressing free speech essentially. And then they've also simultaneously managed to completely piss off the liberal lunatics, as I call them. And I don't mean any Democrats. I don't mean this in a political way. I mean,
there's plenty of lunatics out there, Stephen. You don't even need to say Democrat anymore. Just say the lunatics and people just get it.
The lunatics, right? But the hardcore people that want it to be their way or no way, they're right, nobody else is right. They've managed to piss off both of these groups of people at the exact same time. So they're getting it from both sides right now. I've never seen it happen before. So where this goes from here, who the hell knows?
Oh my God. So audience, I want to know, what do you all think was the reason why Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, for some reason, were all shut down? Do you think it was them compressing that whistleblower talking about it. I mean, it was all over the news. So I hear, I don't really watch the news. My wife fills me in when I get home and I'm like, honey, I don't care. The news isn't even real anymore. Oh, well, that might be real. It was one of those situations. So what do you guys think? I want to know what everybody thinks. So Catherine here from Facebook said, you believe it was an oops, a 6-hour oops. No, I don't think so. Does anyone else think it was an oops? Does anyone, what does everybody think? Definitely. So Charles here on Instagram said definitely suppression of information. Chad said, I think they were changing something with their platforms. Okay, maybe. I don't know how to say that one, but I think it was a network and a routing issue. It's so interesting. What does TikTok think? Free speech.
While they're commenting in, I'll tell you what CNBC is saying. It was Facebook.
Oh yeah, CNBC is full of real news. I should call CNBC just the fake news platform. But what are they saying? What nonsense are they pushing out there?
Well, they're saying that it's shut down for more than 6 hours. It's the worst shutdown outage they've had since 2008. When a bug knocked it out for about a day, but the service only had about 80 million users back then. Now, as you know, there's billions of users. And just I'm trying to see if it shows the financial numbers in this article. But as you were saying before, not only did his worth drop, but the amount of money that Facebook makes every minute is just staggering. I mean, it really is amazing.
I agree with that one. Yeah, I mean, and Shauna just posted something funny. So all of you that are on Facebook, I think you probably know by now, we do just a wee little bit of advertising on Facebook. And Shauna was putting ads up with our team. And she said, we spend on Facebook for marketing. As soon as they turned back on, like as soon as Facebook came back on, man, they were hitting our daily budget. They're like, we got to get our money because they lost a ton of money that day for that. So did they lose money suppressing information that actually could have harmed Facebook in a much bigger way? Did they make a mistake by doing that? Because now the truth might actually have leaked out. I'd love all your opinion, but it's crazy what happened. Dude, I'm screaming. Ha, ha, ha. Somebody just said on TikTok. That's awesome. Catherine has an interesting thing here. It's kind of long. Distributed network attacks are often referred to as distributed denial of service, DDoS attacks. This type of attack takes advantage of a specific capacity limit that it's kind of a lot for me to read, but maybe that's the reason, the DDoS. Who knows? But Facebook shut down. It pissed the world off. Instagram shut down. That pissed the rest of the world off. So we got everybody pissed off. We got all the advertisers saying, you literally just lost me X amount of dollars. I'm not going to advertise anymore. What is the impact that is going to have on Facebook? Are you guys looking for an opportunity? Maybe now is the time to buy Facebook. Did the stock drop that much, or will it continue to keep going down? I don't know. That's up to you guys. But boy, it made for some good news that day. And it gave all those vultures out there a little something to talk about, to spin their own way and to talk about. But let's get to something more fun than stupid Facebook.
I was just going to bring up, bugs do happen. So if it was a bug or if it was a hack, something like that, here's another article that just came out a couple of days ago from Bloomberg about a new DeFi company, a platform that mistakenly sent $89 million worth of crypto to its users. And the CEO is now begging users to voluntarily send it back. So that's a pretty big mistake as well, right?
Begging. Now we're beggars. It's just like, we keep talking about it. We keep saying it. It's just like, what the hell is going on out there? Shit is crazy. But that's why we do What the F Happened, because it is so insane. The crap that's going on out there. The markets make how many of you actually trade the markets and follow the markets? Can you guys watching what's been going on? It's up, it's down, it's sideways, it's up, it's down. Listen, if you understand price movement, okay, if you're actually a trader on TikTok, Instagram, or any other channel, and you understand price movement, you understand patterns, you understand trends, and you really can kind of boil that all down to one thing, it only spells one thing. We are at the end of a megaphone pattern. That son of a bitch is so tight. Like, just picture this, right? I don't care which channel you're coming at. This is the market. We're right here. So at this point, now what's going to happen, and mark my words, and October is usually a really critical time to watch this. The market's either going to break higher and going to continue to go up to the next level. or it's going to break lower, which you've been seeing all week long. It's testing these lower limits and these lower levels, but investor confidence is so good. The government is always there to print more money through monetary or modern monetary theory. I mean, hey, you guys need more money? Sure. Here's 3.5 trillion. No big deal, guys. We'll just keep that printing press running. We'll just keep buying bonds. We don't want the little whining baby called Wall Street to keep crying because, hey, we want peace. Well, peace in this sense of Wall Street means the bubble just keeps getting bigger and bigger, folks. And the megaphone pattern is going to prove what's going to happen. Even if we break to a higher level, folks, it's inevitable. The son of a bitch is going down faster than the freaking Titanic, and it doesn't even need to break in half because it's just going to be like a submarine, point that shit straight down and go down. I don't care whether you believe me or not, because I will almost promise every single one of you, I study this way more than you. And if you guys have ever read the book Outliers, it talks about professional athletes. It talks about Bill Gates. Why were they all so good? Why were they the greats, the legends? Time, folks. They put the time in. They had X amount of hours in studying. And folks, I do nothing but be a nerd and study history, study the market, study the patterns, read so much stuff on this. So if you want to argue where the market's going, let's do it, because I'm not going to argue when it's going to happen. I'm just telling you, it's going down like the Titanic. So what comments do we have on that now that I pissed some people off? What stock should we invest in to protect during the crash? I don't think you should put money in any stocks, to be quite honest. We talk a lot about the safest places to put money are privatized banking policies, which are giant mutually owned insurance companies. Store your capital there. It's safe. It's guaranteed. And you still make uninterrupted compound interest. But maybe you're like, that's boring. All right, then do 20 or 30-year U.S. Treasuries. Buy TLT like a lot of the economists are talking about. Maybe you're a gold bug and you like gold and silver. Well, start stacking up on your silver bars and your gold bars. Like, hey, and maybe I'll come pay a visit to your house, and maybe your safe won't have any gold or silver in it anymore. And I don't mean me, but you just got to really pick. And the name of the game really is diversification. But I would be extremely cautious about having any money in any stock. And I'm being serious, folks. Like, I have a private hedge fund. You guys all know what a hedge fund is. Mine is very small. It's private. But how much money do we have in stocks? Zero, folks. We're investing in private companies like Cauliflower and in television. We're doing private deals that, I'm sad to say that aren't available to the public, but I don't have any faith in the market. My personal money, where is it? Privatized banking policies. Bar none. I got 7 of those puppies. All my money runs through those. And I got a nice little helping of TLT, which is 20 and 30-year bonds. So I hope that helps. Most people are like, no way. There's no way I'm doing that. Well, hey, to each their own. I'm not saying my investment strategy works for you, but my investment strategy is safe, cozy, comfortable, goes up a little bit every single day. And when the whole tank goes down, I'm going to be buying when you guys are selling. So, hey, pick a side, because there's always somebody buying and there's always somebody selling. It's just at what level do you want to do that? So anyway, off that one, let's get on to the next. What should we talk about?
Jameson brought something up. Biden is inviting nations leading banks to the White House, which goes right along with what you were opening up with. I'll share this real fast. But the nominee for the comptroller of currency, who controls basically the economy and all the banking system, she admires the Soviet economic system and thinks the Fed should effectively end banking as we know it. The Wall Street Journal went on to say that Biden's nominee to regulate banks really, really hates banks. So you tell me how that's going to pull out. But just to hear a little bit more, the Cornell University Law School professor's radical ideas might make even Bernie Sanders blush. She graduated from Moscow State University in '89 on the Lenin Personal Academic Scholarship. 30 years later, she still believes the Soviet economic system was superior and that U.S. banking should be remade in that image. So you guys think about that.
Holy F. Like, I've never heard that. I don't know if that's real or fake. Jason, who knows? I mean, that's the problem today. What's real and what's not? And we really need to decipher that. And we really need to make our own judgments based on our own due diligence.
This is all facts. This is all facts.
That's all fact checked?
Yeah, this is 100%.
All right, there you go, folks. So Biden's appointee went to school in Moscow and believes we should go to their system. How many of you like that? Say aye. How many of you think that's what we should do here in the greatest country on earth, the land of opportunity? We should move to a communist platform. Is that what we should do? How many of you say aye? How many of you say F that? Put in F that. I want you guys to comment aye if you think that's a good solution for the U.S., the greatest country on earth, okay, or was. Hopefully we never have to say that this was the greatest country on earth. I want to say this is and will be the greatest country on earth, but it's very difficult with shit like this happening out there. I don't know, man. Listen, like a lot of people are saying F that, F that, F that, impeach him. Like the problem is very evident. And I can't understand why anyone likes this lunatic. Listen, Trump or Biden, forget about either one of them, right? But we got to kind of just forget about the person, because Trump, he's an idiot too, like babbling mess. Like sometimes he just sits there and just digs his own damn hole. Like he had his own problems, but what one was the lesser of the two evils here, right? I guess that's for you to decide. But if we're really talking about the future for our children, our grandchildren, like I think we know where the problem lies. And I'm not getting political, but let's get right off of that one. Let's talk about.
I'm going to bring one more up here, Chris, because
let's see it.
It makes you wonder when you start seeing this. Article just came out this week. Google was planning on starting to offer bank accounts to users, and now they're saying they're scrapping that plan.
Yeah, I wonder why. You think Google's stupid?
Yeah, exactly.
We got a person being, brought in for the comptroller of the banks and the currency and the economy that hates banks. You think Google wants to open a bank? They were like, guys, we're just going to put this one on the back burner for now and just wait and see. Pretty smart of Google to say that. But listen, follow the signs, folks. Follow the signs. They're all over the place. Let's see. We're not the greatest country anymore. Somebody just said that. And, that's sad. That was Christopher, on TikTok. But how many of you literally kind of feel that way? It's hard not to feel like the United States of America, the land that we've grown up with freedom because of our veterans, because of our military, because of the young men and the men that fight for our freedom. That's why we have the greatest country on earth. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that feel that this might not be the greatest country on earth. But what is? It's not China. It's definitely, is it Europe? Is Europe the greatest country? Or which country, and it's saying Europe, but which country is the greatest if the United States is not? That's the problem. The United States is still the nicest house in a really, really shitty neighborhood because the world is a shitty neighborhood. So it's tough. If you had to ask me, where would I want to go? Sweden, I don't know, some of those countries, some of those places, Sweden sounds pretty freaking good. I don't know. Just put me in a mountain, man. Let me snowboard. Let me just go out and have fun. It's tough. It's tough. I still, and maybe I'm an optimist, I still feel the United States is the greatest country on earth. And I still feel like there's hope, even though it seems like that hope dies a little bit every single day with the shit that's going on out there. How many of you agree with that? How many of you agree that every day a little piece of that optimism for this great country goes away? But we got to stop. We got to do something. And I mean, none of us really feel like we can do anything. How many of you feel like your vote even matters anymore? Say aye. Do you guys feel like your vote even matters? Because I don't. I feel like when I go and vote, it doesn't even make a fucking difference. How many of you? That's sad. That's sad because I stand in that line for hours sometimes just to put my vote in because I still believe in this country and I still believe there's hope. And I will continue to do that just because that's the habit that I've created and that's the hope that I have. But does it really even make a difference anymore? Man, it's sad. So let's get to the next thing. Southwest Airlines says that their staff must be vaccinated against COVID by December 8th under federal rule. So now you got Southwest. Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe American. I think United already kind of laid down the law and said they all have to be vaccinated. How many of the airline stewardess and airline employees are just going to say, no, I'm not doing it? I already have.
Last I heard, Delta was going to fine their employees like $200 a week or month or something if they weren't vaccinated. So
literally, we should put together a fundraiser for Delta.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, maybe somebody should put together a fundraiser for Delta employees to pay the $250 a week. Now, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I am absolutely not an anti-vaxxer. My mother, my whole family has the vaccination, and good for them. They were trying to protect themselves. But, there's this gray area. And if you follow science, if there's this gray area of people that have had COVID, and there is an awful lot of people that have had COVID, and I'm one of them. People that have COVID have a natural antibody. The same thing that basically the vaccine is doing. And there's been studies that have shown that that is just as good, if not better, than the vaccination. So people that have had it, should they still get vaccinated? Like I don't know. I'm not a scientist, and I don't even know what science to believe anymore. I simply know that if I just protect myself and my family and we don't go, out in the public, which sucks, like we feel like confined little animals, but that's my choice. It's free to hear your choices, but Southwest Airlines, are they going to lose their staff? Are they going to lose their staff like our hospitals have? Like, how big of an issue do you guys think it is right now that the hospitals don't have staff to take care of people that are sick and dying? And I'm not just talking about people that have COVID.
The other thing on that, Chris, is, all these nurses, all these hospital workers, all these airline flight attendants and pilots, they were doing this through the pandemic before vaccines even existed. So they weren't, they were out there, they were making it happen, they were fine. And then all of a sudden now they're being mandated for over a year, not having a vaccine or anything and not having to work. Like, where is this all out of nowhere? And now with new drugs coming out, like Merck's new pill that you can take that's supposedly very, very effective, where is that going to leave vaccines as the talk continues? So, I'm with you on the vaccines. Like, get it, be safe, but to mandate it is, in my opinion, un-American.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of people say it's unconstitutional. A lot of people say, why is the government so adamant about this? Like, that's you want to know, like, the vaccine, right? I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Like, I'm vaccinated for everything, not COVID, but and I'm free to say that. And like, you guys can hate me if you want because I don't have the vaccination. I already had COVID, so like that's my free choice. And if I am willing to kind of go on the line and not get it knowing that, hey, I already had it, but I can still get it again if I'm stupid and unsafe, like the way I was when I first got it. Cause I'll be honest, like I probably got it because I got loose with it, and there's still a big problem out there and a lot of people are getting it. But, and I just here, let me go on the line and say this. I have to date lost 4 people close to me to COVID, directly for COVID. And some people would say, no, they probably didn't die of COVID. It was something else. No. I assure you, these 4 people died from COVID. One of them was my friend Julie. He's salt of the earth. We know him. We used to go to events. He used to be one of our, our students. He's come to our events. He's been a big supporter. I just found out last week that we lost him. And, in my eyes, like, seemed pretty healthy, maybe a bit overweight, but not obese. And COVID got him. Like, it's sad. Like, I go to sleep at night thinking about that. Like, this is not something that, we should take lightly. Some people are like, oh, it's no worse than the flu. No, I had it. Trust me. It was, and Steven had it too. It's worse than the flu, bar none. And if you got some, respiratory issues of any sorts, like, beware. But if that's your situation, maybe the vaccination is right for you, but maybe it's not. Is it right for our children? Well, I don't know the truth on this, but I heard that they did a study, and this is Pfizer, and out of, I can't remember the numbers. My gosh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even say it, but like there was more children that were dying from the vaccine than were dying from the actual COVID. And I don't have fact checks on that, but like that stuff, when you hear that and you got a 16-month-old, it scares the shit out of you. That's where I'm at. Now, I don't want to just go down this COVID pack in this thing, but each of us should be free to choose which path we want. If it jeopardizes other people, well, hey, maybe you're going to have to find a new job. If you're in an occupation and you haven't had COVID to have the natural antibodies and you don't want to get the vaccination, maybe the company should make you test every single day, or the company should give you alternatives or offer you a severance to leave. Like, I don't know what it is, but for the government to make it so these companies have to oblige to their rules, and then all of a sudden that results in a whole bunch of people losing their jobs in industries we can't afford to have people lose their jobs, like hospitals. Like, how many of you feel good that a bunch of people from hospitals are no longer nurses? You just lost a whole bunch of your nurses, and you just lost a whole bunch of your doctors because of their free choice. They didn't want to get the jab. And because of that, they're no longer there to save lives. That to me is a freaking problem. But who the hell am I? I don't know what you guys have. I don't have all the facts. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I just know that I'm trying to protect myself, my family in the way that I am, and you guys should be doing the same. So let's get back into what the F happened, because COVID is just a dry and boring thing, but it's in the news every day. Right there, California to require COVID-19 vaccines for all eligible students. Great. All right, so now what are we going to do? Have a bunch of students that aren't going to school anymore? So our education system, but you guys can figure what you want about, colleges, whether those are really what people should be doing. So let's see. We got so many comments coming in here. Steven, which one do you want to talk about? Look at these things.
Well, you can hit on that, or we can switch topics back over.
We got to get off this topic. I hate this topic, and I just don't want to talk about it anymore. So how about that? Let's talk about.
All right. So there's a couple of things going on. So first off, the president of Robinhood is being accused of dumping all his AMC stock the day before they restricted trading on AMC. So it kind of goes into the overall picture of what I want to go into right now, talking about some of the upcoming changes and what's going on with the market. But, I think right now, what's driving the market up is investor confidence, right, Chris? You say that all the time.
Absolutely.
What drives crypto? What drives the markets? Investor confidence. But I feel like the more and more that those kinds of stories come out of all the, it was just out how, Nancy Pelosi, how people are starting to mimic her trades, because how does she always make such $1 million trades all the time? Like, how does she know
inside information, man?
Right. So it's inside. So as that kind of thing continues to happen, I'll pull up a couple other stories. Let me show you this one first. But as this kind of thing starts to happen, does that start to affect? Let me delete the little advertisement there. But does that begin to affect investor confidence, where that, along with everything else going on, starts to bring the market down? It all plays together.
There's so many red flags out there, folks. There's so many things just pointing to beware, right? Like, it's almost like you're walking down a narrow aisle and everywhere is beware, danger, caution, everything's flashing in front of you. You remember the sign or the song, signs, and I'm not a singer. Everywhere there's signs. This is that time. The signs are everywhere, and people still, because of investor confidence and because of I'm just going to call it what it is, like the sheeple, you're just following everybody else. They're just herding the sheep into it. Like, it's just, I see it every day, folks. I see it more than any of you will ever have the chance to see it in your lifetime, because we deal with thousands of people. And we see that, through 401ks, through advisors and everything else, everybody's still plowing their money in. It'll be okay. You're in this for the long haul. Ask anyone in 2009 that stayed in for the long haul how that worked out for them. Now, maybe it worked out today, but how long did it take for them to get back what they lost versus somebody that said, you know what, too dangerous, too much risk. The risk doesn't, equal the reward, or doesn't justify the reward. I'm out. How happy were the people that got out in 2008, even if it was during the first drop? How happy were they? You got to really just look at it from your standpoint and look at the signs and say, which direction is best for me, my family, and my future? And you then need to remember the basic rules, and they are buy low, sell high, and don't lose money. Warren Buffett's famous words, followed with, when others are greedy, there's a lot of greed right now, be fearful. And when others are fearful, 2009, 10, 11, be greedy. How many of you, and I know some of you are too young to remember this, but in 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, I feel like it went on for almost like 6 years. It seemed like every week Warren Buffett was on the news. And Warren Buffett was buying something else. He was buying this company at a bargain, that company at a bargain, this company at a bargain. How many of you remember that? Have any of you seen Warren Buffett on the news lately buying anything? Like, literally, like, ask yourself that. Is Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, buying anything? How about Ray Dalio? Runs the largest hedge fund in the world. He's got to be careful what he says because he manages China's money. But is he buying anything? Okay, Mark Zuckerberg, is he buying anything? No, he's selling. Bill Gates, what are they buying? Pharmaceutical companies, and you've all heard it, farmland. That's weird. But is he buying any stocks? No, they're selling a ton of them. The only stocks he's buying are ones in the industries that he is directly controlling in a roundabout way. Like, these guys aren't dumb. They've got access to information we could only dream of having. Some people would say that's insider information, just like Pelosi. You don't think she knows a thing or two that we don't know? Follow them and do what they're doing. If Pelosi's buying something, maybe research it. If Buffett's selling something or Bill Gates is selling something, maybe you should follow the leader. That's the wrong word. I don't want to say follow the leader, but follow the big money. Everybody else is just following the herd, the masses, and it's going to end up the herders are going to run those sheep right off the cliff. That's exactly what's going on out there. So I'm trying to start some controversy here because I know I'm pissing some people off. And
Chris, I'll get you going. Okay, so we all, one of the things we talk about at Money School is taking back control of your money, right? Because everyone wants to control it for you. And it goes the same way when it comes to a lot of stuff that we talk about. And let me give you an example here, because right along with what we were just talking about with the insider trading, right? It's all about who has control of the information, who can control the news cycle and what's going to happen that drive the markets, who's going to control the banking systems and how does that work? Because if you can control the banks, you control money. If you control money, you control everything, right? So let me ask this for everybody on here. Who on here right now has a self-directed IRA? Who has a self-directed IRA? Put SD in the comments. SD if you have a self-directed IRA, okay? And then I want you to answer this question for me. As you're putting SD in the comments, Chris, let me know if anybody has a self-directed IRA coming in. And if you have a self-directed IRA, now I want you to answer this question. Do you consider yourself super uber rich? Do you consider yourself a super rich person? What do you think? Chris, do you consider yourself super uber wealthy?
No.
But you have a self-directed IRA.
Yeah.
So according to the news and according to the media and according to the Ways and Means Committee and all the proposals coming out, you are uber wealthy, Chris. Everybody that has a self-directed IRA is uber wealthy, and we want to come after you and take back control. We don't want you to be able to do more. So look what they're doing. They propose this as attacking the super rich, but all it's really doing is saying the proposal would also block individual retirement accounts from investing in things that sophisticated investors do, like private business and real estate transactions. So how many of you would like them to stop you from using your SDIRAs for private lending and real estate deals, for buying rental properties, for investing in private businesses? That's what's trying to happen right now. You can see yourself rich.
Man, I'm fired up now. So listen, folks, the one thing I'm going to tell you, you are all effing up on, and you have been, not your fault, but this is the lie you've been told your whole life. You've been taught to give up control of your money. Self-directed IRAs, and I'm happy to see that a bunch of people here on TikTok and Instagram and on Facebook and YouTube have self-directed IRAs. That gave you the ability to take back some level of control of your qualified retirement plans. Now, the other thing is, like, Stephen, you asked me if I feel rich or anything, and, they say they're going to come after me. Go ahead. You know where my money is? The same place all those super wealthy bastards up there have their money. I follow the wealthy. They're not coming after my money, man. Sure, maybe they might attack my tiny little self-directed IRA, but my money is in a place where all the wealthy have their money. They're not touching that one, folks. It hasn't been touched since 1913. You think they're going after it when Biden owns what we own? No. You see, they're going after the middle class, folks.
But they
keep saying tax the rich.
Right?
Tax the rich. Go after the rich. Like, hurt the ones, the rich right here. The rich, hurt the rich. Go after the rich. Go after the wealthy. Folks, the wealthy are the ones saying go after the wealthy to trick your ass. Because they can't go after the wealthy. Why do the wealthy not pay tax? Is it because they do something illegal? No, they know something you don't know. They understand the tax code because they've hired the professionals to understand the tax code. They play right within the rules. It's called 1041 tax reporting. Don't get mad at Trump. Don't get mad at Buffett because he doesn't pay as much in taxes as his assistant. Don't get mad at, the Clintons and all these other, wealthy families. They're not breaking the law. They're playing into the way the law was written that you just don't know about because you haven't been given that information yet. They're not doing anything illegal. You just aren't using the same system that has been there the entire time since 1913. That's why they don't pay taxes. They're saying they're going after the rich for self-directed IRAs. Those assholes have self-directed IRAs. They're masking in literally, what would you call that? They're hypocrites. They're saying one thing and going after the middle class. Why would they want to do something with self-directed IRAs? What is the number one use for self-directed IRAs for the middle class that do have them like us? What is it? Real estate. Where is the middle class's wealth, the majority of it held, that the government doesn't control? Real estate. Why would they go after self-directed IRAs? Because they want control of the number one place the middle class has its wealth, and that is real estate. You attack self-directed IRAs, you immediately impact the ability for the middle class to self-direct their money into real estate in places where they can build significant wealth. And with wealth comes power in a certain level or control in a certain level. This whole bullshit, this whole game is about taking control away from you. The best part about this game, all of you can beat it. It's so freaking easy to beat this game, to beat all this nonsense. Take back control of your money. I'm sorry.
Today at 1 o'clock. Today at 1 o'clock. We'll get into it.
Put me on mute or pause, but fuck, man, this shit pisses me off because you all can do the same thing they do. Stop blaming them and start following them. Damn, I said it.
Today at 1 o'clock. Today at 1 o'clock.
I'm ready to go now.
Today at 1 o'clock, we'll start getting into it.
Let's do it.
Today at 1 o'clock, Chris, we're going to start getting into it.
Oh my God, man, that just fired me up. Whew. Am I flush? Am I red, guys? Because I should be. Because that's how passionate I am about helping all of you get control of your money and beating this shit. Because it is a game. That's all this is. It's like a game of Monopoly. And how many of you played Monopoly? Wasn't it cool to win? Yeah. So let's win. And you can't win playing in the traditional financial literacy space. You can't win when you take your advice from people that are getting their advice from the top down, that is there to beat you and there to take control of your money. Think, folks, think. Stop giving up control of your money. Change one thing and change where your money goes first, and that puts you in control of your money 100%. It takes and puts your money in a place that is private. The government just said openly, and you all heard this, they are going to start monitoring all transactions in your bank account over $600. Like, how'd that make you feel? That make you feel like they just opened the curtain on your shower when you're naked? It did. It's exactly what it feels. Oh my God, you get out of here. Well, they're following people into the bathrooms now and recording them, I guess. Who knows? Like, you can beat that. The privatized banking side, where all the wealthy have their money, that you don't report anything at the end of the year. Nobody asks. Nobody says, how much money do you have in your private bank? No, but they want to know every time you do a transaction over $600 in your traditional bank that somebody else owns. See what I'm saying, folks? Think. Just think. Whew. All right, Stephen, I'm going to try to get rid of this flush because we got to move on to another topic. Let's see what else.
One thing that you personally witnessed recently that's kind of affecting a lot of the supply chain and driving inflation right now is the international shipping containers off the coast of the West Coast right now. I mean, you saw those pictures when you're out there, right?
Absolutely. Listen, I was just in Huntington Beach. I spoke at two masterminds, the Avengers, and I spoke at Secret Knock. And at Avengers, like, I'm a surfer, so Huntington Beach is a surfer's paradise. I walked out to the beach looking at the surf saying, all right, should I get in or should I not? And I looked out on literally right out past the pier. There had to have been 60 ships anchored out there. And that's just Huntington Beach. That's just literally, it's like a little pimple on the elephant's butt of what we're looking at. That's everywhere. Like, there are companies like in television, one of the video game producers, out there, they can't get chips to fulfill their new video game terminal called Amico, which is freaking awesome. They can't even get those things built because all the parts are on the ships. You are paying what, 30, 40? Some people, I heard people paying up to $100,000 over sticker for that new Corvette because the chips, there's only so many of them. They can't produce them fast enough. There's a worldwide problem where the ships out there with all the goods and services can't get in. And that is a problem, but that is also something that is going to fix itself. It's not something that we have to really worry about. It's just a temporary transitionary problem. Truly, that's what it is, but it's damn well a problem because you know what it's doing? Have any of you looked at your shipping costs lately? Probably not, right? You're not really paying attention. But DHL, one of the major shippers, is raising the rates for U.S. shippers by 5.9%. Why? Why are they raising the cost for shipping? Folks, that's just DHL. UPS will get in line. FedEx will get in line. USPS will get in line. Our stamps will probably go up soon. Everything is going up in price. And some of it is transitionary, right? Where it's just going to be a temporary thing like lumber, right? Lumber went up and it came back down. But what isn't? I'll bet you any money your food prices won't ever come down. I don't know if we'll ever see gas prices down because we got an administration that hates fossil fuel. Does everybody realize that fossil fuel is in the earth, and it is something that there is so much of it, you will never run out. Now, some people say, oh, it's dirty. We'll fix that. Make it clean. There are clean diesels that put out almost zero emissions. Diesels. Yes. Are they using them in the world? No. Are factories compliant in using clean burning, whatever, they do? Their factories, are they clean? No. But you could start there. Instead, they're just like, nope, we're just going all electric. I got to tell you, folks, the electric thing, to me, I love it. I love Tesla. I like everything that's going on. But I seriously fear that if we did go all electric on this stuff, we lost control, because they can just flip a switch and you're done. Like oil, I don't know. There's two different ways you can look at it, but it's scary. But DHL raising their rates by 5.9 now just to have the stuff shipped to your house. Because, hey, how many of you are not going to the grocery store anymore? Because that's me. And if I do go, I do that carry out where you pay a little extra for a shopper to buy your stuff. That's how I've kept my family safe. But how many of you are not going to the stores like you used to, and you're just ordering online and having it shipped to your house? Well, now all your goods and services, if shipped by DHL, just went up 5.9%. Is that a small amount? Hell no. That's a lot. Steven, what do you got to say about that?
It all trickles down. I mean, I'm all for, moving away from oil and gas. I mean, there was just a really, really bad leak that was undetected off the coast of Huntington Beach in Los Angeles, and it's going to affect the ocean there for years to come. So stuff like that makes me say, something needs to happen. But that's just, not having enough people being aware of what's going on and not detecting that leak in time and not having the proper systems in place, more so than completely getting rid of it. But I mean, we shut down the Keystone pipeline. We allowed Russia to build their own pipeline. We're back relying on OPEC. I mean, everything's leading towards getting away from fossil fuels. So I don't think that we're ready for it as a country, as a nation, as a world yet, but we're pushing towards it quick. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But we're going to have a lot of hiccups along the way, and there's going to be a lot of things that are going to change in our lives, and it'll be interesting how it affects everything.
Oh my God, dude, the comments coming in are just epic. These are listen, folks, like on TikTok and Instagram, I'm not ignoring your comments. I'm looking at them. Every time you see me laughing, it's just because your comments are so freaking good. Let's see. We got Corby here, Corby Halifax. That might be where he's at. He said 2 + 2 = 6. There are 2 2s because of the government. Oh, that's great, man. U.S. current infrastructure cannot handle all the shit coming in. Absolutely cannot. Dead on. Let's see. That's all Instagram. I'm against going away from oil. We are not open bound. Biden did that. Yeah. So, OPEC and oil, we're not going to ever get away from oil. It's like, study it. Like a lot of people are like, oh, it's just from the dinosaurs dying. No, it's just part of the earth. Like that's just the thing. There's so much of it. And we know this, like we know how much of it is. Now, is it the cleanest? Well, it can be, but maybe the technology just isn't there yet. But if everybody knows how a battery is built, is that the cleanest and the most eco-friendly way to do things? Absolutely not. Some will argue that the way that batteries are made for these electric cars and everything else they're doing with electric is more harmful to the economy than oil. But who am I to say with that? The one thing I will say about electric is building an electric car. Okay, so if you look at an electric car and you looked at an internal combustion engine, oil, okay, the two cars, the electric car is a lot easier to build. It requires a whole lot less parts. If I'm not mistaken, I just read a newsletter. It's like 60 parts go into making an electric car. There are thousands of parts that go into making an internal combustion vehicle. So for one, that's cool, right? Less parts, less moving parts, less maintenance on an electric car. True, true, and true. But what does that mean if it takes 1,000 parts to build an internal combustion engine and only 60 to build an electric? What do they not need? Think about this. I want you to think. Can anyone answer, what do you not need when you only need 60 parts versus 1,000? What's the one differential you do not need anymore to make an electric car? Look in the mirror, folks. You. They don't need you anymore. They don't need employees because they need a whole lot less employees. Heck, they probably can do it with machines. They can build an electric car. So what about the unions? What about the labor unions? Are they going to break down the labor unions? They've always wanted to do that. So the differential is you're going to be out of work. Welcome to the new world. Facts. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, but it will eventually happen. Just think about that. Thousands of parts versus 60. Much easier to build it at 60, a whole lot less people, and the car rolls off the lot. And yes, maybe it's eco-friendly. So let's get to some of these TikToks, Steven, because these are freaking epic, epic, epic. Let's see. Where do we go?
Get to them. We don't really have any other topics. The last thing I want to end on was maybe the debt ceiling.
And I crypto. So folks, stick around. We're going to hit crypto really hard at the end and the debt ceiling. So we're going to hit those. I'm just going to hit these today. So one of the people said they're meeting with their tool specialist, which means they're setting up their banking system and getting their mapping all done. That's awesome. Congrats, my name. We got Lucky Left here. I love that. The top dogs own crypto, though, and want all of this to happen. You're probably right. We're going to hit crypto in a second. I want to roll my 401k, but don't know where to start. It's easy. Start by researching self-directed IRA custodians. There's Horizon Trust. There's Equity Trust. Is that the one, Stephen? The other big one? Equity Trust. Is that what it is? Or Equitrust?
For SDs?
Yeah, self-directed. We use Horizon Trust, and we've been happy with them. There's other options.
Trust. There's a bunch of companies.
Yeah, so what you can do is you can DM me, Patty, if you want some information or you want me to send you someone to talk to about that. We get paid nothing. We're not connected in that way. Self-directed IRAs, they don't pay commissions to anyone because they don't make any money for doing that. But I can connect you, so just hit me a DM and I'll get back to you. I like to hear from changing people's lives. Let's see. There was another good one I got to hit. This one I love. Crypto legend. So obviously a crypto investor. Change your mindset and you will change your life. Dude, if I could freaking high five you, there's one to you. One of the best comments of the day. Who shaved your beard like that poor guy? My beard? So you guys talking about my shaving? I don't spend a whole lot of time like trying to prim and prep my beard. Okay, I just don't. If you don't like the way my beard looks, fuck off. There we go. Less workers. Met with my advisor. We both want to know how your invested money still builds interest after. I can't really read the whole thing. I'm not making a whole lot of money right now in my invested assets. I'm playing crypto, which we'll talk about in a second. Most of my assets are in privatized banking. So how am I making money? I put my money in my private bank, which you guys can just go to my YouTube, go in the bio on TikTok, and I've got a 90-minute video that teaches you all about what this is. So I move my money over here. The second my money hits my private bank, it's earning interest and dividends. But then I can then take that money out and not interrupt that interest. So if I'm making 4% here plus dividends and I take all the money out, I'm still making the money. My money never left the account. So again, you're probably like, that sounds too good to be true. Well, it's funny. It's been used by the Rockefellers and for hundreds of years. Then I take that money and I say, where can I make more money on this? So I pay off all my debts. And then I recapture the money I used to give the Visa, Amex, Discover, Amazon, all the credit cards. I don't pay them any money a month. I pay my bank money a month, and I recaptured whatever, 15, 20, 30% interest that I used to give away. But then my cars, I take money from my private bank and I buy the cars that I drive. But I don't just buy them in cash like you do. I then figure out what the monthly payment would have been to Porsche or Mercedes, and I write that same check every month back to myself. So I pick up a little spread there, maybe 4%, 3%, whatever the car manufacturer would have charged me in interest, I pay that back to my bank. Remember, now I'm making money twice, not once, and I didn't work any harder and I took on no risk. Crypto, I take money from my private bank, not a traditional bank. I don't use traditional banks outside of just writing checks. So I take money from my private bank. And when crypto, last week, I believe it was, got down around 40, I put a bunch of money into crypto, 10 grand. Okay. And that money came from my private bank and I put it in crypto. Where's crypto today? Like 52. Am I doing all right? Yeah. The crypto investors are making money once. I'm making money twice on everything I do. You see, that's what I do. So when you talk to your advisor, that's the secret. I know how to make money twice because of tapping into what Albert Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. But my compound interest doesn't involve me keeping my money sitting. I get to move my money and lend money to real estate investors on private loans at 12%, pay off credit cards, buy cars. My office, okay, right here, there's a copier. This guy comes in and he's trying to lease us the new model of the copier. It's $8,800. And he's like, all right, well, you can lease it. It's 160 plus this, plus this. And he gives you the price. I'm like, great. That's a nice machine. We should upgrade. This one's getting older. And I said, great. So 160 would be the lease, right? All right. Well, get me the best price on that thing. He's like, well, I can't negotiate the price if you're leasing. I said, no, I'm paying cash. And then what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to take money from my private bank. I'm going to lend it to my company at 6%. I'm going to buy the machine, and then I'm going to pay from my company back to my bank $160 a month. It's the same amount I would have paid for the lease, but now every penny of that 160 goes back into my bank. I get all the money back for everything that I buy, everything that I use, everything that I drive. That's the secret, folks. It's so simple, but your advisor won't know about this. So don't give your advisor all the credit. They're not taught this because this doesn't pay anything to your advisor. Well, it pays a little bit, but they'd have to take a cut of 60 to 90%. So a lot of people ask, what do you do with your money? Watch my YouTube videos, folks, and TikTok. Watch the video in my link tree. That's the ticket. I don't need the market. I buy the market only when it goes down because I don't need to run the risk of FOMO and fear of missing out on anything. I'm already making money. If I want to make more, I just deploy it into the things that I'm doing every day in my life. If that makes sense, great, guys. I love it.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Somebody said pronto. So I took the beard comment totally too serious. I'm just wired and fired up. I just went through a whole venti. So if I took that wrong, I'm sorry. It just came off wrong in the way you said it. Dude, I hope you like the beard. I don't spend any time with it. It's pretty sloppy, and I like it like that. I got a hat on backwards. I don't do my hair. I just let it keep growing. If you need somebody in a suit to give you financial advice, I'm not your guy. But you know what? I don't manage your money anyway. You can't get me to ever manage your money. I teach you how to take back control of your money, which doesn't involve me, Steven, or any of our companies to ever manage your money. Isn't that great? You never have to pay us. It's the best thing. We give it all away for free. So because of that, we don't have to impress you. We don't have to put on a false look and impress you. Dude, I'm a snowboard and skateboarder. True to true, I'm never going to change. Steven loves football. He's not going to change, man. Like, we don't have to be some specific thing and fit a little mold to impress you. We don't give a shit if you like us or don't. If you don't like us, laugh, argue, whatever. Just have some fun with this.
Chris, listen, I'll give you an example. I had one of our mastermind founders text me at 7:15 this morning. Hey, just wanted to run some things by you about what he's doing right now. He's got a humongous plan, making all kinds of moves and investments. And so I call him at 7:20. We talk for 20, 30 minutes. Try and do that with your advisor. And he doesn't even pay me. He just needed to talk through what his strategy was. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, dude. Woo! Awesome. Like, I know we're getting to the end, but man, I'm just so fired up. This has been
Can I say one more thing?
Episode. Yeah, dude, do it.
One more thing. So I was just thinking here, right? So they're attacking self-directed IRAs, right? Because those are coming more popular, but they can control those by changing one law. You notice that they're not coming after privatized banks. And if you don't know what that is, watch the video. We use a specially designed and engineered policy to be able to create these. But they're not coming after those, but they are making one change right now. So right now, for the last 30, 40 years, they've offered a 4% guarantee on your privatized bank compounding interest. That 4% guarantee is going away at the end of this year. So, but however, there's another change within that law that's not as being talked about that's going to allow us to actually put more money and get more growth out of our privatized bank. So think about this for a minute. Maybe they're eliminating the 4% guarantee because that's what the normal person sees and draws them to that. But for us, people that understand how this works, we already know how it works. I don't give a shit about the 4% guarantee. That means nothing to me. It might deter someone new and say, oh, well, I don't get a guarantee anymore. Well, I don't want to do this anymore because they're still thinking old school. But somebody that understands it, these changes that they're making are a huge positive for us that do privatized banking. And who is doing privatized banking? Those are the truly wealthy people in this country, the Rockefellers, people like that have these privatized banks. So, they're always going to change the rules to benefit the super wealthy and hurt the middle class. And even if you're in the middle class or lower class, you can play with the exact same rules that the wealthy use. You just have to understand it.
Dude, well said. And I agree with you, Steven. I think this change, although it's bad because now the insurance companies can lower the interest rate to 2% or 3.75. But you know what the other side of the coin is? By them doing that, they become more profitable. They're mutual, so they pay higher dividends, which are not guaranteed, but they pay dividends consecutively for 163 years. And we are at the lowest dividend scale ever in history with these insurance companies. Plus, we go back to party just like it's 1987 again, before the MEC rules, because we get to put a whole lot of money. I just was on the phone yesterday with an amazing human being. He just exited his company for $25 million. He's like, Chris, I don't know what to do with this money. I don't want to risk it. And I said, well, man, that's too much money to put into your private bank because of the MEC rules, the IRS wouldn't let us. But maybe now he can put a big chunk in. I don't know. Just saying, I think there's some good changes coming for what we do. And I think when this whole ship goes down, I think a lot of people are going to be blowing our phones up saying, show me, how do I put money in this thing and still have access to take it out and get guaranteed returns? Those of you asking, because a lot of people are like, well, how do you put money in and then take money out and still earn interest on all of it? You got to watch the video. We don't have time to get into that. What if you're uninsurable? Great question. You got to borrow a life. So you got to go to your spouse or your children or an executive in your company and use them as a key man. So that is the problem. There are risks with it. And the risk is you might not qualify for it. That's the biggest risk. How do I start my bank with 100,000? So that's Psych Scott. You just go in. So Psych Scott's on TikTok. Go right up into my bio, and there's a 90-minute video. Watch the 90-minute video, bud, and then schedule a call with our team. And all we will do, we do not sell anything. We will answer your questions, and if you think that it will solve your problem and you like it, we will help you set it up. That's how we do things, folks. There's hundreds of people on here that work with us now. Have we ever sold any of you anything? The answer will be no. They will just say, no, you just answered all of my questions. You showed me how it works, and I made the decision to go forward. Isn't that the better way to do it? Why do we need to be sold something if we just learn how it works? We see how it solves our problem. You're smart enough to make your own decision. We don't have to sell you anything. You should ask us to help you, because if you know that this solves your problem, we don't have to sell anything. We just answer the questions and show you the path. That's how it works, and it's a better way. All right. So Colorado said, I use Northwestern Mutual. Do you trust them for BYOB? So let me hit that one real quick. Northwestern Mutual, one of the best mutually owned insurance companies out there. Unfortunately, Colorado, that company does not support BYOB. They do not support privatized banking because the loan interest rate is too high. And there's a lot of reasons why we don't use that company. They just will not. Same thing with New York Life. Great insurance company, one of the best. They don't support what we do, so we don't use them. So keep your Northwestern Mutual stuff. It's great life insurance, but not going to work for BYOB. How do you do this living paycheck to paycheck? Thomas keeps asking. So it's tough, Thomas. We really would have to start with creating a budget and figure out, where is your money going? I make this and the money's going out. So you're living paycheck to paycheck, not because of any other reason than you make this and you spend that. So we need to look at where that money is going and figure out, is there a way we can change the dynamic of where your money's going and take back some of that money that you're giving away to everybody else? I will say it is a difficult task sometimes for us to help people that are paycheck to paycheck, not saving anything, because to do privatized banking, you have to be able to save money. So a lot of times our answer is not one you like. It's like, man, hey, you got to get a second job. You got to go out there and hustle. You got to get a side hustle to make a little extra money so you can save. I can't fix the broken situation that you got yourself in. Maybe we can, but we can give you solutions. They're hard solutions, but if you're really desperate to get out of the problem that you're in, sometimes the path is not easy and it's the path less followed. So hopefully that helps you, man. How do you do that same one? All right, so that's it. So Steven, let's get into the final two things. You want to start with your topic, or you want me to hit crypto?
Well, I think we'll talk about the debt ceiling next week, because that's a pretty in-depth conversation. And let's get into crypto, and then anybody that wants to come back, we'll be on live at 1 p.m. Eastern today. Go to moneyschoolrei.com/Wednesday-webinar to register for that. We do it every single Wednesday. So if you register one time, you'll get reminders each week, as well as the recording sent to you after it's done. So you can make sure to keep up. This week's strategies are on CV, LOCs, which are cash value lines of credit, and we're going to start getting into the privatized banking system. And the upcoming weeks, we have some really solid topics coming up. And we're going to end the month of October with an unbelievable presentation about trust and foundations and 1041 tax strategies. So make sure you register today, and you'll get reminders for those. We also do an Ask Me Anything. So if there's any questions that you want to ask us from today, from what we discussed, and you want to ask us live and have us get more into it, join us at 4:30 Eastern, and you can ask all of your questions, and our whole team will be on there helping you. Other than that, folks, crypto.
Yeah, we do this stuff every week, and it's all free. We do What the F Happened. We do another show every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern called the Wealth Webinar, totally free. You know, Steven, for TikTok and Instagram, since we couldn't post it on there, write this down. Just Chris Naugle, you guys can see it right behind me. I know it's backwards, but Chris and then naugle.com. Right on the front page, you will see a way to register for the Wealth Webinar. Zero cost. Zero anything. Like, we give you my book, Drifting Away from Traditional Car Buying, how to get all the money back for every car you're going to buy, drive, and own. By using that concept, you get that for free. Just register and show up. And if you don't show up because you're working, good for you. We love people that are out there hustling. watch the recording. We send the recording out every single week. And then we'll answer all your questions on the Ask Me Anything. Listen, we're here to serve, folks. We totally understand the best way to help and to get ahead in this world is what Zig Ziglar said. He said, help enough people get what they want, and you will get what you want. So we are the ones that are helping people get what they want. And because of that, through scale and through helping thousands of people, we get what we want. It's a novel idea. It's a win-win-win or win-win, however you want to put it. Crypto. We got a lot of crypto people. How many of you right now put your hands up and say I or yes? How many of you invest in crypto? Bitcoin, Ethereum, hopefully not these shit coins. And I love somebody made a comment on TikTok about the shit coins, saying that the rest of 2021 is going to be the big coins. And I think you're absolutely right. And one of our experts who's on our 3-day training, Spencer, a leading crypto guy, says the exact same thing. He doesn't even talk about all these shit coins or small ones. He focuses on the big dogs and where they're going. So let's talk about that. So
we were down at 41,000 Bitcoin when we did this last week, and we were talking about let's trade within that 40 to 50 range. We hit 55,000 on Bitcoin this morning, so almost a $15,000. What is that? 25% jump in the last week. So some of the in the know crypto people are telling me right now that we've now broken out of the 51,000 range. We're going to see if it's going to hold there or what's going to happen. So right now, today has a lot to tell on what's going to happen moving forward.
Well, here, I'm actually going to draw, and I just turned my TikTok thing here. I just want to show you guys what we're talking about here. Now, last week, we told you this, okay? Last week, we went on and we said Bitcoin, okay, and I'm only talking Bitcoin. You guys can do all your shit coins, your Doge coins and all that, but I was talking specifically Bitcoin. How I trade Bitcoin, just being an old school Wall Street guy. Okay, and I'm just going to keep it, I'm not going to use any of that Wall Street. This is your ceiling. This is your floor. Okay, so just envision this is a hard floor and this is a hard ceiling. So Bitcoin has, I think 4 months, 5 months, has literally traded between 40K and 50K. It has literally kind of just been like boom, 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 boom. It tests these limits. So we've got 3 tests on this. And just right now, it's run to 55. Okay, just this morning, we're at 55. But it has been bouncing around this floor and ceiling. We call it support and resistance. But for those of you that don't know that, just think of your ceiling ahead of you and think of your floor. You jump, you don't go through the floor, but if you got a heavy enough thing and you jump enough times, you'll probably break down to the basement. Same thing with the ceiling. If you go up there with a ladder or a trampoline, you jump and you hit the ceiling enough times, eventually you'll go through. Same thing. 1, 2, 3. We probably even have 4 touches. And we probably have 2 on the downside testing the 40,000 floor. So I'm no genius with crypto. I'm not the expert. I am openly telling you not. But I am a damn good investor, and I am a damn good rule-based investor. My rule for Bitcoin has been when it gets around 40. Now let's just even say 41. I follow the chart. When it gets around 40, I buy. Okay, I put 10 grand in, a little bit into Ethereum, a little bit, 5 and 5. Just last week, I just did it. Literally, we got off of the live. I looked at the charts. I waited a little bit and I bought. Didn't think about it. I bought 10 grand. And now it's at 55. I normally would sell at 50, but right now I'm following the velocity and I'm just following the heat. Now it's going to do one of 2 things. It's going to continue to run, or it's going to pull back into this range. So I don't know which one it's going to be, but with the market selling off a little bit today, Bitcoin has been directly tied or correlated to the overall stock market. So if the stock market's pulling back, there's a good chance we're going to come back down, because when it gets into the attic, okay, when you break through the ceiling, it gets up into kind of an area where there's not a lot of data. And it's like, oh, I don't know, this is cool. It's a different surrounding, but I just don't know if I like this. And it could come back into this range. And it even could go back down and test the lower levels, which if it breaks down in that, it's going to create a buying opportunity in the 20s or 30s. That will happen, but it's not happening now. So how much money did I make on my investment of 10,000? Plus, I'm, again, old school. I love dollar cost averaging. How many of you understand dollar cost averaging? Every week, I put 200 into Ethereum and I put 200 into Bitcoin. Every week. Just automatic. I don't even think about it. Just 200 goes into each one. I buy high, I buy low, but over the long haul, I average my costs to be lower. I just do that because, hey, you're never going to get it right. And with dollar cost averaging, you limit how much you get it wrong. So that's what I'm doing, folks. Pick your ceiling and your floor. We're already at 55. So is now a buying opportunity? I'd be cautious. I won't buy right now. Okay. And my dollar cost averaging I am, but I won't take any chunks and put in. But the average person, the sheeple, if you will, probably are like, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to the moon. And they're buying here. And they're probably, that's a dangerous proposition. They should have bought last week when it was here, or maybe even this week at the earlier range when it was maybe here. You're up in kind of, I don't want to say uncharted territory, but up in a territory that doesn't have as much data as this. I hope that makes sense, folks, because this is just investing 101. This is how I trade Bitcoin. How you do it, that's completely up to you. You guys are probably way more sophisticated. All these technical indicators and how you trade. Me, I follow price movement. That's it. And I trade the support and the resistance. There you go. Just look at that sucker. Like, folks, if I could draw on the screen right now, I would literally draw you a line. Listen, it's sideways, folks. It's sideways. You don't even need to be good at investing to look at that and just draw two lines like I just did. Draw two lines and connect the dots. You guys remember that when you were a kid? Teach your kids this. Be like, little Charlie or little Sally, like, let's connect the dots. And they start connecting dots on a chart. That's not hard. You will find your ceiling and your floor. The rule of thumb is 3 touches and 3 touches. So to create your lower floor and create your ceiling, that has to have hit it 3 times. So go through and just count. Like I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's so many that hit the ceiling. You get it? That's what you do. That's how I trade crypto and how I trade Bitcoin. How you guys do it is completely up to you, but it's worked pretty well for me so far. And I'm not the expert. So what app or company do I use to buy? I'm boring, man. I use Coinbase. Because of the bigger one. They report. I get a 1099 at the end of the year. Yes, I pay taxes on my crypto because I've heard enough horror stories from people that didn't, and now they're being audited. Man, you want to talk about the IRS going nutty over something? You've been playing crypto and making a bunch of money. They're coming for you. Just use a platform that has reporting. You can't beat the tax man. So play within the rules and beat the tax man the way the wealthy do. Learn 1041 tax reporting. Learn complex trust. Learn family trust to complex trust to foundations. If you're paying over $100,000 a year in taxes or more, otherwise you're kind of not able to do a whole lot. If you're 1040 reporting, if you work for somebody and you get a W-2, the government loves you because you're bleeding taxes to them. Oh, but the government said they're only going to tax the wealthy. Anyway, I'm done with that one. So that's the thing I use. Crypto Legend, who sounds like somebody that knows about crypto, that's his name, on TikTok, said it's heading higher. You very well might be right. We broke through the ceiling. So there's a very good chance this isn't going to happen and it's going to keep going higher. But again, we just have to sit back and watch. So I think they're right. Anything else?
I think we're looking good, man. I think that was good.
All right. Well, I think we got a lot
next week. A lot happens in 1 week, so
oh my God, yeah,
we'll be ready.
Yeah. So Bryce here on Instagram. Kudos to you, Bryce. High fives. Little knuckles. I just sold mine and made $2,000. Like, who doesn't want to make $2,000 in a week? Like, come on, folks. Like, who doesn't? I don't care if you don't. You might be like, oh, I didn't have $1,000. I only have 100. Put 100 in. Put 50 in. Put 10 in. Does it matter? Like, hey, figure your budget out. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Okay. Are you drinking coffee every morning? Where are you getting your coffee? Start making it at home. That saves you $10 a week or $20 a week. Take that $20, put it in your Coinbase, put it in your privatized banking. Like, literally, like, folks, we're not like talking rocket science here. Got to give to get. Sometimes you got to give up to Starbucks. Maybe you're getting a venti. Get it tall. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we got to sometimes give. This is a crazy time. And the next step is going to be the biggest opportunity of your life. So you might want to live frugally today so that you can live like the wealthy for the rest of your life. With that being said, folks, this has been an awesome episode of What the F Happened. My partner in crime, Steven, crushed it today. So everybody put your hands together for Steven and his slides and everything. It's been awesome. Guys, go out there and start the process of taking back control of your money, because if you don't do that, they're going to take control of your money, which means they're going to control your life. You can figure the rest out. With that, later, we will see you guys all in the Wealth Webinar series this afternoon, and it's been an awesome pleasure to serve